G'day, we're talking to Luke today, and particularly thanking him for coming along to talk to us about coaching. Hi, Luke.
Yeah.
Now, Luke, you've been going in Christ Community West for 3 years now, is that right, at church plant?
Yeah, so a bit over 3 years now.
And just give us a bit of a snapshot of Corinda, which is the area that you've planted in.
Yep, so Corinda's probably middle to upper class, reasonably affluent sort of suburb, lots of really established churches. So we initially went there because there weren't a great deal of evangelical churches in the area at all. So they tend to be old liberalised sort of established churches. So we went there, which, has its positives and its negatives, because you meet people and it's like, well, I'm Anglican or I'm Lutheran or I'm Catholic or I'm Uniting or whatever they've been in for the last 50 years. So you get a little bit of that. But we're also surrounded by suburbs of a very different character. So we have Darra and Anala, which are a lot more multicultural, a lot lower class, and they're right next to each other. And so that gives a fair degree of diversity to the church.
Okay, mate. Well, you've been planning for 3 years, as we said. It's a southwestern suburb of Brisbane, just so I get the geography right for everyone.
Yeah, so about 11 kilometres southwest of CBD.
No worries. Okay, so when did you first start getting coached by Geneva? Was it from the beginning, or did we come in a little later?
Yeah, so it's probably maybe about a year in, I think, or maybe not quite a year in. So we had, I think planted by about 6 months by the time the first Geneva Multiply equivalent event came. And I went along to that, got assessed, and so it was probably a little bit after that I met Mikey, and he asked if he could be my coach, etc., and went from there.
Now, Mikey Lynch is the director of Geneva Push, and I guess, your association with Geneva Push at that point was, I guess, positive but limited. You didn't really know a huge amount about it. Was there any apprehension about what this coaching might mean, or was it all just universally positive for you?
I think it was reasonably positive. So I'd heard things on the grapevine. I was excited about church planting, as you would hope to be if you're about to plant a church. And so, any sort of support or help that was out there, I was kind of keen to be a part of and to get whatever help I could get out there. So I think I was reasonably excited. I didn't have any expectations though. I was a blank slate in terms of what's this going to look like, and so I had no idea.
And what did it look like?
So Mikey, we generally had a Skype call with Mikey. He's down in Tasmania, so he couldn't see face to face, so we generally Skype as best you can get. Probably for about an hour and a half once a month. I guess initially we were getting to know each other. He was getting to know what I was doing. We had stuff up and running, getting a bit of familiarization along those lines. And then I guess over time, as we built trust amongst one another, he would give insights. I would ask questions about, hey, this is happening. Have you got any thoughts on that? And Michael would give his insight or thoughts or ideas about a certain area, or he would ask me, where am I going? Okay, what does that look like? Just asking questions about what I needed to think about to get where I needed to go. Have plans in place for some of those things. Yeah, so
there's nothing casual about an hour and a half conversation, is there? I mean, that sounds like that's quite intense. Like you're obviously covering ground in real detail. It's not just a chat.
Yeah, so I guess we talked through quite a number of things in that time. So there's a little bit of chit chat, obviously, and you can know each other.
You want to hope, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, so I guess the time seems to go by reasonably quickly. Like I never sat there thinking, boy, this is intense, and we've been at this for. I generally felt quite relaxed, relational. Let's talk about what's happening here. How's that been going since last time that we chatted? You were going to do this. Have you done that? What happened? Let's it's sort of reporting back, telling what's happening, the roadblocks that are in the way of some of those things. And so it was just an ongoing, really, conversation that happened over 2.5 years. He's helped me along the way. So, Yeah.
It's interesting you say it's helped you along the way. I guess coaching is exactly that. It's something trying to lift somebody else up to sustain them in the work. How did you feel? What did you feel you actually got out of it? What are the things, if you look back now and you go, gosh, this made a difference for me in these areas? What would you say?
Yeah. It probably depends on the coach a little bit. So, Mikey is great with just ideas. So if I found myself at a roadblock in a particular area or just stuck, I found Mikey particularly helpful to just reinvigorate, get me thinking about some things have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Now, he wasn't there saying, you should go and do this, but have you considered trying this, or have you thought about that? And so generally what I found walking out of my time with Mikey was that I had a list of 6 or 7 ideas that kind of I could then work on. So I could go, I obviously didn't do all of those things, but some of them were like, yeah, okay, I hadn't thought about that. That's a great idea. I need to pursue that a little bit more. And then maybe there'll be some follow-up on that when we next chatted, something along those lines.
How valuable is that sort of ongoing checking, if you like, for a church planner? I mean, many church planners talk to us about being, I guess, somewhat isolated in their work. How valuable is that connection?
Well, I would say it's essential. I mean, I think I couldn't imagine not having something like that. So I was in the privileged position of having a couple of people in my life to help out in those ways, and so I don't think I really felt that sense of isolation that maybe others have had. But I would say it's invaluable. Like it was extremely helpful to have ideas coming in, being pushed, having some accountability as well with some of that, with what you're doing month to month, week to week, having someone in your corner who's supporting you. Obviously, the coach is there to encourage, to build up, to help you along. So, yeah, for all of those reasons, I would hate the prospect of, okay, see you in 4 years, or just give us a report every now and then, or that would just be debilitating and terrible, and I couldn't imagine.
Mate, thanks very much for sharing with us. It sounds like you've gone from a point in which you're actually sort of breaking ground to now feeling sustained, in the process of doing it. And we're just really glad to hear that. We hope also that people who are watching this get a same sort of sense of the value of coaching and what that can actually mean for Australian church planners.
Sure, will do, mate.
Take care, mate.
Thanks.